Well, it happened. Hey, what's going on everyone? It's me, Mr. Mario, and today I'm going to be doing a bit of a, I guess, unboxing overall video. This is not going to be a review per se of this console because it's been out for a bit. I don't think there needs to be a review of it, especially for me when there's a lot more capable people out there. Just my honest opinion. But this is going to be my unboxing, my first impressions, and my thoughts overall, as well as my explanation as to why I end up getting an Xbox One X. So let's go ahead and see what I got here. First of all, we got the... I don't even know what type of controller this is. Obviously, this is an Xbox... Oh, it's gray. Okay, there we go. It's a gray and green wireless Xbox One controller. This thing's brand new. Box is a little bit, you know, it's seen better days, but it's all good. And then we got the Xbox One X right here. Just the regular standard edition, not the Project Scorpio version, which is totally fine. And yeah, the reason why I end up getting these, first of all, the price. So, altogether, brand new One X with the brand new controller, $450. That is a lot, but I got this on eBay, and I had a 20% off coupon as well too that I was able to use. So altogether right here, this was $360 shipped to me, which to me for, you know, I hate saying it, but the most powerful console in the world, that's a pretty solid deal on that, especially when this thing right now, excluding any sales, is retailing for $500 before shipping, before tax, and controllers are normally about $50-60, I'd say, something like that. I'm not going to unbox the controller because I'm not going to use it right now, but anyways, let's go ahead and see what this Xbox One has to offer. So of course, we got this all right here. Let's see what it says on the side. Unleash. Let's see if I can show you all. There we go. Alright. Unleash 6 teraflops of graphical processing power, making games look great, run smoothly, and load quickly. Maximize game performance with the speed of 12 gigabytes of GDDR5 graphic memory. See every frame with the 326 gigabyte per second memory bandwidth, and stream and record game clips in 4K at screaming fast 60 frames a second. Awesome. Awesome. Alright. And then back here, games play better on Xbox One X, true 4K gaming, Xbox Live, and this is built for 4K, so looking pretty enough so far. Finally on the back here, we have a 1 terabyte hard drive installed, 4K Ultra HD features, HDR, and of course the Xbox One. It says it's fully compatible with Xbox One titles, so makes sense to me. Alright. Now let's go ahead and crack this thing open. I'm going to get my scissors. So I kind of want to talk about this as I'm opening this up as well too, because I've only played on Xbox One X one time, and it was the very first day, and I mean, yeah, it was a higher spec Xbox One. I'll say that's about all it was so far, because there were a lot of games that didn't have the 4K patches and they didn't have the assets and such, so that was it. Also, because I don't play on the Xbox One that much, I didn't really have a baseline to go with. But let's see what's right here. All right. So if we open it up here, it says Xbox One X and Xbox Live Gold, Xbox Game Pass, getting started. Now just looking at this all here, I am liking the packaging quite a bit. Getting started, there's your guide, basic enough. Seems to come with a Xbox Game Pass trial, as well as a Xbox Live Gold trial. I'm not going to go all the way on these because I don't want to, you know, show all the code. I don't know when I'm going to use these, to be honest, so. Alright, cool. So I got some trials on that. Let's see what's in the side pocket here. If I can pull this out. It is heavy, so I'm assuming... Does this thing have an internal power supply? Or is it external? There we go, the HDMI cable. I will use this. Usually because I have so many cheap HDMI cables, I normally don't. But that one I will use just to make sure I'm definitely using a proper HDMI cable to use 4K. Because thankfully I have a 4K TV I'm going to hook this up to, so be good on that. As for the controller right here, alright. I'm really not a fan of the Xbox One controller, I'll be honest, but I'll at least put this back in here. I might or might not use it. We'll see. Because I have a few other Xbox One controllers, so there's not a big stressor for me to use it. Looks like in here we have the product and regulatory guide, as well as in here. Oh, so it does have an internal power supply. See, this shows, like, if some people are screaming at me saying, yeah, that's obvious, I don't care about the Xbox One all that much, so that's why I didn't pay all that much attention to the Xbox One X. I'm just going to be straight up. So now kind of going into that, you all might be asking, well, why did you get the Xbox One X if you don't care about the Xbox One that much, and weren't you the same dude who also made a video talking about they weren't going to get a One X? Well, I'm going to explain that, and I'm also going to say part of that is false. If you watch my previous video, which I'm sure hopefully some of my people who are watching this have seen it. I did make a video called Why I'm Not Getting an Xbox One X on launch. That's true. It's been out for almost a year at this point. Well past launch, so I did not get it on launch, and I'm not going to repeat really what I said in there because I still stand by my points, and my god, this thing is heavy. Oh my, Jeebus. Wow. Okay, you know, the previous unboxings I had seen where people were talking about how heavy this, like, damn. You know, if I didn't have any regard for this or monetary stuff, I would drop it on the table here just to see how loud of a thud it made. But I don't really want to do that. I'm just going to be straight up with you all. I do care about it enough where I'm not going to drop it, alright? There. Let's go ahead and reveal everything else in here. So, overall, I like, you know, the packaging on it seems to be fine, and seems to be alright. Alright, there we go. So, I'm not going to repeat the points I made on there, but, you know, there were a few variations as to why I'm going to get this. So, two of them, well, one of them already happened, two of them are available now, one of them I'm waiting on. First of all, the price. As I said, you know, I paid $360 for all this. I think that's an excellent deal for this right now, especially when everything's brand new, so I decided to jump on it. Why the hell not? Alright, let's check this thing out. My god. Yeah, oh my god, this thing is heavy. This might be the heaviest console I have. Alright, cool. Alright, so we got the front USB port right there, the IR blaster, the sticker. I'm probably going to take that off because I am part of the no sticker gang. And nice, this is really cool. The fan vents are on the side, so now I can actually, probably going to stack this on top of my PS4 Pro. And I don't have to worry about it ventilating from the top, which is pretty nice. And finally, let's see. The back here we got, you know, if you still want to do TV, HDMI in, HDMI out, power, two more USB ports, IR out, SPDIF, and Ethernet. So, if you want to hook up your precious Kinect, you're going to have to get one of those adapters, which I think I can get now, actually. I'm not going to buy one, but I think I can get one from Microsoft if I pretty much, you know, register my original Xbox One and my Xbox One X right here. I didn't get the Xbox One S. So, getting into this here. Again, first off, price. For this, with the brand new controller, it's pretty solid. And of course you're going to benefit from all the stuff of 4K and also higher performance and all that. Secondly, Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption for the Xbox 360 is playable on this thing at native 4K. I think that's pretty cool. Third reason is original Xbox games. Original Xbox games scale the best on here, and I believe some of them, if not all of them, are going to be at native 4K as well. I need to check some more Digital Foundry stuff, but they seem to be pretty solid on here, and the Xbox One X is the best place to emulate them, at least. So, I decided to get it for that. The thing I'm also waiting for is, honestly, Master Chief Collection. I would love to replay those at 60 frames per second, locked, like all the campaigns there. And also, I know they're addressing, like they, as in 343, they're making the patch. The elusive patch. They're making a patch right now, which is not only supposed to fix the game, but it's also supposed to bring it's supposed to optimize it for 4K for the Xbox One X, for HDR, all that other stuff. So whenever that patch drops and it checks out and seems to be all good, I'll probably run through all the Halo games on there. Now that's the problem with this as well too, so again, I'm not going to repeat what I had said prior where I was talking about, oh, I didn't like the Xbox One because of this, this, and this, because I've already said that stuff, and if you're interested, you can check out that video. But the problem I just talked about here is that my two current reasons, aside from price for getting an Xbox One X, are a Xbox 360 game and original Xbox games. My upcoming reason for wanting one as well is for Xbox 360 games. Again, I'm not going to count Master Chief Collection as a Xbox One title, because all those games can play on the Xbox 360, with technically Halo 2 Anniversary is exclusive to the Xbox One, but aside from that, Halo Anniversary came out, Halo 2, it's playable on Xbox and Xbox 360, Halo 3, Halo 4, those were Xbox 360 exclusives prior, so that's the problem on that. There's really not much Xbox One-ing that I'm going to do. Although I will say, having a 4K Blu-ray player will be great, and I have missed having a proper Blu-ray player. I'm going to be honest on that. I don't have a PS3 hooked up to my media center downstairs, and the PS4 just, it's not as good. I'll be the first to admit that. It is not as good for media playback compared to the Xbox One. So the Xbox One, it's decent for media playback if you want a modern system, so yeah, it's exciting to see. We'll check it out. Anyways, that's been my unboxing. That's been my initial reactions to all this. I'm going to take all this stuff, take it downstairs, hook it all up, and then hopefully, I'll give you my impressions here at one point. I'll tell you all how long I've spent with the system, but we'll be checking it out here soon, so good times. Oh, and finally, before I cut off to that, one thing that I think is a little bit silly is I wasn't crazy about the Project Scorpio edition of the Xbox One, so I really don't regret not picking that up, especially since if I picked it up, I would have barely used it. But I do think it's a little bit silly that that came with a stand. Now, I'm not going to keep this standing. I'm going to keep it like this. But I think it's a little bit silly that came with a stand, but the regular Xbox One does not come with one, unfortunately. So I don't know how much those things go for, but I'm sure you can get, I don't know, a decent chunk of change for one of them just for a piece of plastic. Awesome. All right, let's check this thing out. All right, with the power of editing, we are here over 6 months later with the Xbox One X. What are my thoughts on it so far? What do I recommend? All that fun stuff. So, again, this is, at this moment right now, I don't know if there's been a price drop yet when this video drops, but at the moment, this thing is $500 for the 1 terabyte model. I just got the standard model right here. It's not any special edition. It's not the Day 1 edition. No, or I guess Project Scorpio, that's what it is. I was thinking of Day 1, but no. But that's about it right here. So, my final thoughts overall? Well, let me go ahead and get into it. First of all, let me just put this box over to the side. There were 3 reasons for me for wanting to try out the Xbox One X. Number 1, original Xbox backwards compatibility. I wanted to see what this could do with the pretty upscaling, with any type of playing with the resolution, and essentially what it could do to fix up these games and make them really shine. And I will say the results I had so far, this is the first game I tried, Conquer Live and Reloaded, they were interesting, to say the least. You really see all the imperfections when you are playing the game, at least when it's showing in a 4K resolution. I'm saying showing because I don't believe these are running at native 4K. It would depend on the game, I'm sure, but what I'm saying here is the original Xbox, the specs on it were not nearly anything close to the One X or even the original Xbox One. That seems kind of obvious, but what I mean by that is with the original Xbox, they really had to make sure they were making use of the resources properly. So this was a really good example of seeing that, where, for example, like just the first level or two, whenever there were cutscenes where it was focusing on Conquer himself, Conquer looks amazing. Conquer looks astounding. You can see every single strand of fur in his tail and all that stuff. But everything behind him and everything that's out of focus is just kind of like a blurry Vaseline type mess. And then when there's several characters on screen, if that's the function, if the function is, or I guess the focus is on multiple different characters, it looks okay, but then there might be other assets that are going to fall to the wayside that kind of just look terrible for the most part. That is no fault of the One X. In fact, that is kind of to be expected. The thing is, you're playing these games now at such a high fidelity and at such a high quality that they were never intended to be played at, that you see all the imperfections and the little shortcuts and tricks, so to speak, that the developers used on games like this to make Conquer look really good, and even if everything in the background looked horrible, it didn't matter because you were probably playing through composite cables on a big box TV. Not even a big one, maybe like a 23-inch TV or something like that, so it did not matter at that point. But original Xbox backwards compatibility has been interesting. Next up, I guess would be technically backwards compatibility, but I want to see how Red Dead Redemption specifically looked. Why Red Dead Redemption? Well, I'm not a huge fan of the game by any means. I'm not a fanboy by any means. But this does have something interesting. On the Xbox One X, Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare run at a native 4K. And I really want to see what an Xbox 360 game at native 4K would look like. And the funny thing is, it suffers from some of the same symptoms that original Xbox backwards compatibility has, in which you're playing at such a high resolution, everything is so clear, and you're playing at such a high fidelity that you're now seeing imperfections, and you're kind of just seeing some graphical glitches and such here and there that kind of happen when you're pushing the boundaries of a game to something that it should not have done. Because, for example, I believe Red Dead Redemption played at a native 720p on Xbox 360 hardware. All of a sudden, you're playing it at native 4K, that's 2160p. So this looks great, but again, you also see many imperfections and kind of some issues with transitions or even cutscenes here and there. It was entertaining to check out as well too. A friend and I tried this out for like 30 minutes or an hour, and it was definitely interesting to see. I'd say a good technical feat, and definitely the place where you could get the best looking version of Red Dead Redemption. But just keep in mind too, it's not like it's going to all of a sudden look like a current generation game. It will not. It will not. Because a lot of times those assets, and even in this case, like the assets just aren't there. That's what it is. That's why Xbox One games, not original, I'm talking about like Xbox One games, had to get patches and such. And speaking of patches, my third reason here, Master Chief Collection. Kind of just going over this again. Master Chief Collection at this point finally got the 4K update. It got the patch that fixed up the game, that added 4K assets, and I even noticed, I think they just ended up rebuilding the entire game and issued it as a patch. Because the game itself, I don't remember how big it was before. Let's say it was like 70 gigs. And then when the patch went live, it was like a 73.7 gigabyte patch. But I noticed that shortly afterwards, when I was done downloading it, when I looked at my storage of Master Chief Collection being used up was exactly 73.7 gigs, which leads me to believe that the update, they just go in, they say, you know what, the original build of the game and all the other patches, we're just going to delete that, and we're going to deliver a whole new build of the game, which I'm supportive of. I think that's okay. They obviously tweaked a lot on there. And I will say, I, at least at this point, have replayed Halo 1. I've played a bit of Halo 2, Anniversary, I guess technically, and some Halo 4. And they look astounding. Especially Halo 1, going through that again. Like, I remember I've played the initial Halo, like the first one, multiple times, with no issues. Looks fine to me. I played Halo Anniversary on the Xbox 360, and I kind of suffered from that symptom of the Anniversary mode, to me, looked like what I remembered 10 years prior. So I'm playing through it, I'm like, oh, this looks about the same as what I remember. But then you press the back button, and you're able to see the original graphics, and it flips back and forth. Then when I replayed this on the original Xbox One, it looked better than what I could remember, but that was about it. But when I played this here, it felt like, and it looked like an entirely new game to me. And I mean, it could bring a tear to your eye, honestly, with how good it looked. And it's funny because you're going through the game, and they even so much as changed the aesthetic on there as well, too, overall, and the feeling of it. Like, Halo, the original Halo, when you play with the original graphics on there, you notice that it's a much darker game, and in the Anniversary version, they really brightened it up, and they added a lot more lights all over the place. So it's really entertaining to see, you know, something looks just like really beautiful, and there's lights all over the place. Like, a level can be glowing like a Christmas tree, and you're looking at a building and it looks astounding, and then you press the back button and you just see a gray slab. Like, it just looks like someone dropped in a gray slab of dry clay in the middle of the map. But that's what they worked with back then as well too, so I totally understand that. But at least going through that, I wanted to get through at least one of the Halo games before, you know, talking about this, and it looked astounding. And the multiplayer works fine as well too. I actually had some friends over, we played some, like, split screen on here, which is something Halo 5 doesn't have. But we played through some split screen. We were doing Big Team Battle, which consisted of at least Halo 2 and Halo 4, and it looked amazing. It truly looked amazing, so good job to 343 on that, seriously, good job. Now, the issue with this as well too, I can speak highly on it now, but you all have been so frustrated with it, so I guess my root thing is, if you're not crazy about the Xbox One because of the interface, because of the way you might have to do things, because of the navigation, this isn't going to fix any of that. Having a more powerful Xbox One is not going to fix that. If you like the PS4 or the Switch, what have you, if you're on a different platform and you like the UI, you like the entire interface, you like how everything is set up on there, you like the system itself, I would say, then this isn't going to bring you over. I mean, yes, the games are going to be playing better, at least for the most part, like multiplats and all that will play better on the Xbox One X than the direct competition, which would be the PS4 Pro. But if you're not crazy about the Xbox One itself, this isn't going to resolve that. So you would have to look past that. I myself, that's a personal issue. I'm just not crazy about the Xbox One. This did give me a new appreciation of it. I do like it a bit more now, but I can certainly say it's not my favorite system by any means. My preferred and my favorite is still going to be, well, I guess I can technically say my preferred one is still going to be the PS4 Pro if I have to pick up something on that. Something like Red Dead Redemption 2, for example. It does play in native 4K on the Xbox One X, but I knew I wouldn't enjoy it as much on there, so I decided to get on PS4 Pro. That's just me, though, so people can argue about that in the comments all they want to. But going back to this, at least with the Xbox One, discussing that. And mainly, again, Master Chief Collection. So, going back here a little bit, just want to say I have, everything hardlined on my network here, if it's possible. I have a gigabit Ethernet connection. So just going back, let me just rant a little bit about this, right? Because, again, this was one of my main factors for wanting to get a Xbox One X. So, I have gigabit internet, right? Gigabit. Up and down. For anybody who might be saying, oh, it's not true gigabit, you're not going to actually get gigabit speeds, I can get 900, alright? 900 meg up and down easily enough. Even if I get half of that, if I get 500 up and down, I'm happy. I have everything wired up. I have, and even if I don't hit that, network threshold, it's okay. So I have everything wired up here. I've also tried wireless. Now, I've tried this across multiple different systems. If I'm transferring anything internally, I'm able to max out with whatever the NIC on the system is. On the PS4 Pro, the Xbox One, I'm just kind of like looking at them right there. I have them hooked up to a network switch. And on both of them, I'm able to get fine enough speeds for the most part. I have the Xbox 360 hooked up as well too. I'm able to get decent speeds on that. You're limited by the 100 meg connection on there, like the card interface, mind you. But I digress. I've been able to download plenty of apps, games, updates across these systems with no issue for the most part. Downloading at least 100 meg a second, something like that. Why do I keep harping on about this? Well, the patch, going back to the patch, it ended up coming out, and it took me 3 weeks to download this patch, alright? 3 weeks! 3 weeks on the world's most powerful console. I was not happy about that. Especially since I had just dropped the money on that. I had tried to justify it to myself. The patch came out, I fired up the Xbox One, and it was downloading at a whopping 5 megabits per second. 5. I didn't have anything else going on my network that would have been bogging it down. It wasn't an issue with the cable, because I tried wireless and got the same thing. It wasn't an issue with the network interface at all, because other systems were fine on it. So it wasn't like an issue with the switch that I have it hooked it up to. And it didn't seem to be an issue directly with the Xbox One. It didn't seem to be an issue with my storage, because I downloaded other games where, for example, at one point Modern Warfare 2 went on to backwards compatibility. That was like a 7 gigabyte game. I hit download on that. I walked around my house for a little bit, did a few things for a few minutes, came back down, it was done. The patch was still going. And on top of that as well too, it was having issues with constantly disconnecting. What would happen is it was downloading at 5 meg, but I would say downloading in quotes, because it would start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. And completely stop until I had to manually start it again. And it would like start for 30 seconds and stop for 2 minutes. Start for 30 seconds, stop for 30 seconds. It just kept going back and forth. It got to the point I could no longer have my Xbox One sleep mode enabled. I had to keep the system on, like on the actual dashboard itself for over 2 weeks just to download this update. And it was a process of I would keep it on. And then, when I wake up, I would come downstairs, check and see, 3 hours ago, it stopped downloading, and an installation stopped issue. So I had to manually restart it. I would leave. I would come back hours later. 2 hours ago, same thing. Installation stopped, so I had to start again. So when I was actually using the system, I got to, I would say, kind of stress the longevity of the hardware, so to speak, because I had it on. Actually on. Not in sleep mode, not in low power mode, not in background download mode. It was on for over 2 weeks straight. It was extremely annoying, you all. Because, again, when something like that comes out, you're excited to play it now. Okay, you have to wait a few hours, fine. You have to wait a day, okay. After 3 weeks, I didn't want to play this. I really didn't want to play this after 3 weeks. I had moved on. So it took another few weeks before I finally jumped in again. And when I did, it was okay. And it seemed to be that one update, just that one update. Because at one point, I would say 7 or 8 gigabyte patch came out for Master Chief Collection afterwards. And I nearly had a heart attack. Because I'm just like, dude, I can't. No, I'm not waiting for a week again for this. And that patch downloaded within, I'm going to be generous here, 20 minutes. Alright? Downloaded within 15-20 minutes. So it seemed to be that initial patch that rolled out. Now some people could be saying, oh, well, everyone was having that issue. They weren't. Because I have friends who are on different, much slower connections, and they downloaded it the same day. I know people worldwide who were able to do that. But I did see some others. Shout out to Kiwi Dog. I know he had mentioned that now at this point, one of the features of the patch is you don't have to download all the games at once. You can essentially say, hey, I just want to play Halo 2. You know what, now I feel like playing Halo 3, and you can hit that and it will then download Halo 3 and install that while you're doing your other stuff. So it's not all or nothing at this point. You can kind of pick and choose what you want to install on your system and what you want to download directly, which is a nice feature, but I believe he did mention something like he was trying to get ODST, Halo 3 ODST, and it was taking much too long because the download servers were just borked on that. So I think it was something with that directly, but that I'm still salty about it, to be honest. I'm still salty. And I was just ripping on the Xbox One for those few weeks where I was saying, you know, even the update process. Again, the update process was still annoying as well too, because I was thinking, with the fast connection, with everything hardline, with the extra power on the world's most powerful console at this point, that a system update shouldn't take that long. No. Downloading, verifying, installing, restarting, getting everything up to date for a system update still is a 30-minute process. I don't know why it takes so long. One of the main issues I've noticed is you could be downloading like a 1 gigabyte system update, and it's really fast until the last 150, 200 megabytes, and it slows to a crawl, where it's like 2 megabits a second, 5 megabits a second, something really slow. And then it will speed up again, and then it restarts, and just the verification, the install process is still really slow, which that's another thing I was extremely disappointed with. I thought at minimum that would have gotten sped up compared to the original Xbox One hardware, but no, it didn't. Unfortunately, it did not, so what can you do on there? The update process took a while on the world's most powerful system. The world's most powerful system couldn't download a game properly. The one game, again, the one game I really wanted to play, the one Xbox One game I really wanted to play, technically the 4 or 5 on here, but still, the one collection that I wanted to play. Everything else, if I had to delete everything else on my system storage, all the other games and apps, just to have this game download faster, I would have done that. That would have been okay, but that wasn't the case. Alright, I feel better now. I got that out of my system. I feel a lot better at this point. If you're still with me now, if you are still with me for this, my thoughts on it overall. I will say for $360, I feel like I got a fair deal on it, especially since that's saving about $200 at minimum at that point, because you're paying $500 for the system, then you have to pay tax, and again, I got a second controller, brand new, included with it as well too. So even before tax, I was saving, before tax or even shipping if you include that, I was saving $200 right off the bat. So that was definitely awesome to have. I will say for sure that was awesome. I felt comfortable spending that as opposed to $500. I would have been even saltier if I spent $500 and I still had those negative issues on there. And I will say, I see what Microsoft's doing. I see what the Xbox division is doing. I really like how sharing things is set up on there. So, for example, I have my my home Xbox is not the Xbox One X. It's actually my little brother's Xbox. And they are able to download any games that I have in my collection, download any DLC, use my Xbox Live Gold. I also end up getting Xbox Game Pass because I said, you know what, this is a really awesome way of trying a bunch of games for not that much money, and they kind of pushed me to do it a little bit too because they wanted to play Sea of Thieves. But that was really awesome, so I will say, for getting the most bang for your buck, at this point you are getting, I know I'm kind of memeing it, but you are getting the most powerful console, and if you can get it for comparable or cheaper than a PS4 Pro, definitely a good deal. The way gold sharing and game sharing works, better than what I've seen on the PS4 or PS4 Pro. I'm going to say PS4 library there. And on top of that, Xbox Game Pass, unprecedented value for that. That's been excellent. So if you're thinking of transitioning over, I would say that getting a Xbox One X, if you're comfortable with the price point, with whatever you're going to pay, it would be worth it. Now, if you're somebody who you absolutely hate the Xbox One, this could improve your opinion a little bit, like just a bit, but I am going to say the rudimentary issues that still might have plagued the Xbox One, whether it is the user interface, whether it's something like the update system, like what I mentioned, whether it could be anything else that you just don't like about the OS itself, those are still there. Because there's no special Xbox One X OS. There's no complete reskin for it by any means. This is just a Xbox One with much more powerful specs. That's what it is. It's similar to PC gaming, for example. If you don't like PC gaming, getting a really high-spec PC is probably not going to change your opinion. You might enjoy it a little bit more, you might even play that exclusively for a little bit, but you're probably going to migrate back to whatever else you're going to be playing on, so to speak. So I will say, at least for me, it's not making me a believer or a convert back over to the Xbox One. That's certainly not going to happen, but I do have respect for it. And I guess one other positive thing I can say, I've been going back and forth between the PS4 and the Xbox One for media playback, and I have to say, Xbox One does media playback extremely well. The media player on there has been great. Netflix, Hulu, Plex, anything like that I'm using just works so much better on the Xbox One compared to the PS4. Especially Blu-ray playback as well. Like, one thing, a friend and I kind of ranted on this, but using the triggers on here to fast forward and rewind, like, really? I mean, the big problem with that is you set your controller down somewhere, you end up accidentally doing a rewind or a fast forward, and it does, for some reason, with all these consoles, mind you, I don't know what it is. It seemed like they got DVD playback, CD playback just fine, even prior to this. But all of a sudden, Blu-ray came about, and controls just weren't intuitive and didn't make sense for Blu-ray playback. I don't get it. Even the Xbox One, I don't think the controls are that intuitive for Blu-ray playback, but they are certainly better than what the PS4 has to offer. I'll say that. So, for anybody who is loyal PS4, if you've made it to the end of this video, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I love the PS4. I think the Xbox One is okay for what it is. I'm a much bigger PS4 fan, but I have to say, going back and forth between the two, Xbox One really knocks it out of the park when it comes to media playback. And if you don't believe they knock it out of the park, I have to say they at least do it better than the PS4. That's just my take on there. Anyways, that's about it for this video here. This is Mr. Mario signing off. Thank you all for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, a like would absolutely be appreciated. If you didn't like it, a dislike is fine as well too. But let me know what your thoughts have been on the Xbox One X. If you have one, or if you've played one, or if you had one and got rid of it. Because one last thing I'm going to add in here. I talked to a friend of mine who owns a video game shop, and we talked about PS4 Pro, Xbox One X, and we both prefer the PS4 Pro, but I asked about the One X, and he's like, man, I have them, and they come right back. And I was like, wait, are they faulty or what? He's like, no, I have a lot of customers where they see the One X, they get excited, they see it's a more powerful system, they buy one from me, 2 or 3 months later, they come right back and sell it. And I ask what's wrong, and they're like, oh, well, there's games on it, and they look pretty, sure, but I'm looking for more games, and it seems like the games that I'm wanting to play are on the PS4 and not so much the Xbox One. So, just kind of fun little anecdotal story on there, mind you. But anyways, signing off real this time. Later, everyone.